Animal Man number 6, written by Jeff Lemire, art by Travel Foreman. For the back half, the front half is actually John Paul Leon. So, last issue we left off on the Red being infected by the rot, everyone hopping in an RV and trying to drive away as fast as possible, and Sock says that the only thing that could save them is Swamp Thing. This issue picks up. It's a movie. It's one of Buddy's movies because he was an actor, and this is one of the ones he starred in. It's a Ryan Darrenofsky film called Tights. And we see a man just getting ready in the morning. He's looking for jobs in the paper. And we see him make his way to a apartment complex. He knocks on the door, and a man opens up named Dave. The guy, I'm just going to call him Chaz, because that's his name. Chaz, played by Buddy, is asking for Paige, and Dave's like, I don't think you should really come in. Besides, Jamie is, and Chaz interrupts, like, he's mine. He's my son, and I'm going to see him whenever I damn well want Dave. Now let me in. So Chaz goes in, and Paige comes up, clearly an ex-wife, and they argue for a little bit about him just showing up out of the blue. He wants to hang out with his son, Jamie. But Paige points out, like, you haven't given child support in, like, over a year. I haven't heard from you in a month and a half, and you still smell like liquor. And he's like, okay, first off, you don't even need child support with Dave here. And Dave's like, what did I do? He's like, shut up, Dave. Secondly, I've got a job. I've got one lined up at least. It's like a private security thing, and I'm gonna be able to do it because, you know, of my history as Red Thunder. So we get this feeling that he was a superhero in the past. And Paige tells him, like, look, you got to get past the superhero thing, Chaz. Like, it was fun when you were in your 20s, but you're not in your 20s, so how about we get over it? And he's like, all right, sure. Either way, I got a job lined up, and I want to see my son. Just for a second. She's like, all right, fine, but next time call. So he goes back to his son's room, where he's playing some video games, knocks on the door. The son is not very interested in seeing his dad, and he's like, hey, son, I'm happy I get to see you. I've just been busy for a while. And he's like, yeah, you know, it's whatever. And he tells him, oh, yeah, I got a new job, and I might be able to get back in action as Red Thunder soon. And his son's like, oh, that's cool. Great. And he offers up this little paper bag that he was bringing this entire time. And inside is a Red Thunder action figure, limited edition. And the son is like, oh, thanks, Dad. That's cool. And he sets it down. He's like, all right, I got to get ready for school. So he says bye to his dad, and the dad leaves. Goes to the place where he's got this private security firm job out of the paper. And the person doing the interview is like, I don't see any previous police work here. What kind of experience do you say you have? He's like, well, I wasn't exactly in law enforcement, but I was the Red Thunder. She's like, excuse me? He's like, you know, it wasn't like Justice League, but I was a hero. I prevented some local crimes, so I have exactly the experience you're looking for. And then we see cut to him throwing his suit jacket in the trash can and going to a bar. Guy at the bar asks if he wants another, and he says yes. Opens up his wallet and says, okay, actually, maybe I'm good. And he goes home, stares at an empty fridge for a while, pulls out a beer, and he sees a picture of Red Thunder, either him or his son in like a Red Thunder Halloween costume. And he goes to his closet and pulls out the old costume, and he's like, all right. So we cut to this newsstand. A guy wants a pack of cigarettes, but he doesn't have ID. And he's like, man, just give me some smokes. And the guy's like, no, you guys always just show up here and don't buy anything. You just mess up my magazines. He's like, I'm trying to buy something, but you won't let me. And as they're giving him some crap, you hear a voice off pan. It's like, the man says he wants you to leave. And it cuts to Chaz in Red Thunder outfit, which just looks like a tracksuit with a big R on it. And the kids just bust out laughing. And Red Thunder tries to keep his composure. He's like, isn't it time you kids got home? It is a school night. And the kids just lay into him. And he's like, man, you look like you're 40 and you reek of booze. And Red Thunder puts his hand on the kid's shoulder. He's like, this is my last warning. And then one of the kids smashes a bottle over Chaz's head. And they just start beating him. We do get one panel in here of buffering. And then we see everything go to black. And when he wakes up, he's got bandages all over his face. He's in the hospital. And nurse is waking him up asking, okay, what do you remember? You took some hard hits and you were out for 16 hours, but there was no internal damage. And the first thing he asks about is, did my costume survive? And he's like, I'm sorry, we had to throw that away. And at that moment, Paige and Jamie show up, and Paige is like, what were you doing? Why were you out there doing that? That was so stupid. And he's like, I thought I told you have to quit this stuff. And Chaz is like, quit? Red Thunder never quits. Right, Jamie? Right, partner? And Jamie just starts crying. And he just tells his dad, like, I want you to stop. I don't want you to get hurt anymore. I want you to stop being Red Thunder. And Chaz is just going, I can't quit. I can't do anything else. Without this costume, I'm not... And then we get a battery low sign. And we cut back into reality. So the whole thing was Cliff, Buddy's son, watching on his phone. And he, ran out of battery. And Buddy turns around and is like, Cliff, what are you watching back there? Better not be porn. Cliff's like, oh my God, please don't ever say that again, Dad. No, stop. And the mom is Ellen's freaking out a little bit, wondering if they can't just go back home and call the cops. And Buddy's like, no, there's a lot of stuff back there, honey. Like, I know you don't want to deal with that, but we can't really go back there anytime soon. And they all start freaking out a little bit. Sox reminds them, look, we need to go find Alec Holland. He's also facing the rot as Swamp Thing. He will help us protect this girl. But he's like, well, whatever is going to happen better happen soon, because it's getting pretty dark out there. And we see a dead animal on the side of the road with flies all over it. And that's where we leave off the issue and the trade. I have always spoken highly of Animal Man. This issue does feel like a little bit of filler, but it's character-driven filler. It's like the Black Freighter stories in Watchmen. I know that's high praise, but it's informing the character of Buddy through the character he portrayed. He's getting older. This newer generation of people is like, he's not necessary anymore. He's a relic. He's not something that's needed as Animal Man because Maxine is there. So it's a nice little dive into the psyche, and I really like how they did it. John Paul Leon's art, may he rest in peace, fantastic. I cannot overstate how moody it looks and how it just has a completely different tone from the rest of the book while still feeling like the right tone. Like, it still feels like, okay, this was a movie in this universe. It fits. And that's really hard for it to pull off of an in-universe complete tone swap. I really do enjoy that. So overall, I'm going to give this one an 8.5. That may be more reflective of the arc as a whole rather than just this issue, but it is still an extremely well done issue. And if you haven't checked out this volume of Animal Man in particular, I highly, 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 highly I very highly say that you should.